Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. Yes, I got a haircut. Somebody will say I lowered my ears or whatever it is. Yes, I did. So, okay. Hey, summertime, get rid of some of the stuff here. Don't sweat so much, right? That's about it. So let's have a little fun this morning. Yesterday, as probably everybody knows at this point, we had a new pope elected. Now, I'm not Catholic or anything, but still a figurehead in the world is worth paying attention to, especially somebody who is as popular, okay, or as prestigious as a pope is, okay, because, popes are like Supreme Court justices. They're appointed for life. That's it. Sometimes it works out well. John Paul II. Sometimes it works out as a disaster. Francis. Okay. But so now we have Pope Leo XIV, the first American pope. And this is where it gets really funny because everybody's celebrating this guy's, I don't know what you call life, if you will. He's the first American pope because he was born in Chicago. Okay. But everybody in Peru is really happy too because he spent a whole lot of time working down there. Okay, good. But the politics of this pope and some of the other stuff is just humorous. Now, personally, I'd prefer my religious leaders stay out of politics and my political leaders stay out of religion. Why? Because neither side, the religious people don't know shit about politics, and God knows the politicians don't know shit about anything, especially religion, okay? And again, religion is very subjective, okay? I mean, people interpret the Bible different ways. There are God knows how many different religions in the world, okay? I mean, whether you read the Bible, read the Quran, I don't know, pick something, whatever the Buddhists read, pick something, read the Torah, it doesn't matter, okay? But, so it was kind of interesting as all the, how do you even want to put this? I don't want to say news, but all the pundits come out and start talking about what this pope believes in and how he's going to be involved. And you look at the politics one, and, of course, the liberals, oh, he's another liberal pope. Pope Francis cardinalized him, and if that's the word, I don't know. And, he's cut from the same cloth as Pope Francis. And, of course, everybody's going, oh, crap, that's the last thing we need is another moron like Francis was, okay? We don't need a communist pope. We had one. It didn't do too well. The Catholic Church lost parishioners in droves under Francis. So, but they were looking at, oh, this pope believes in climate change and the environment and everything. And, of course, Al Gore is out all over the place going, thank God we have another pope who believes in the existential crisis that is climate change. And yet, shut up, Al, okay? You've been exposed. Everybody knows you're a grifter. Nobody in the world takes you seriously except your little bubble of the circular firing squad of idiots at the World Economic Forum. That is a laughingstock of the world. Okay. The Pope, the new Pope, Pope Leo here, however, is not exactly LGBTQ friendly. Oh my God, the liberals are in an uproar over this. What do you mean? Okay. I don't know, maybe this Pope actually read the Bible. This Pope is okay with divorcees getting Holy Communion. Okay? That, it's not necessarily the teachings historically of the Catholic Church. Okay, and I mean, I can say this because my family, at least on my dad's side, was Catholic until my grandmother divorced my grandfather back in, the late 1940s. And of course, divorce was unheard of in the Catholic Church, so she was excommunicated. But so this Pope is okay with divorcees getting Holy Communion. All right. Now, we haven't heard this Pope's stances on abortion. We haven't heard his stances on, I don't know, whether he would approve of Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden getting Holy Communion. We don't know that yet. Eventually, that'll come out somewhere. So it's going to be interesting to see how this Pope leads his flock. And he has an opportunity to unite, maybe to bring the world back to God, for lack of better, to bring some of the morals back, to be a figurehead, to be a role model, and reinstill the values, the morals that he's supposed to espouse. Okay? That would be a very positive thing. If the Pope decides to get overly political, and like the last one was, he will continue the downfall of the Catholic Church. Be interesting to see. This Pope has said his history at least, he's very supportive of immigrants, okay? Now, he hasn't said he's supportive of illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, but it's going to be interesting to see when the topic inevitably comes up about what his stance is on the invasion of Europe, the invasion of the United States, because you have to remember, Vatican City, which is technically a country of its own, okay, is surrounded by a wall and does not let illegals live there. So we'll see real quick what this Pope thinks, whether he's a hypocrite or whether he's supportive, or the better answer to it all would be whether we never know. Because honestly, the Pope shouldn't get involved in political issues. He's not an elected figure. Yes, I get the fact he's elected by the cardinals, but the cardinals were appointed themselves, all right? So, you and I didn't have a say in the matter. Not that I'm Catholic again, but, the Catholic parishioners did not get to say, well, this is the guy we want Pope. So we'll see. As much as everybody complains about unelected judges, we have an unelected Pope. So I'm not overly concerned about what his thoughts are on a border wall or anything like that. Moral issues, religious issues, yes, okay. What he says should be heard. What he thinks about climate change, I don't care. He's not a scientist. Okay, so we go that. But then, of course, you had to have the fun, the interest. Because, you have to remember, this is the first American, because he was born in Chicago, so you'd say South American for Peru, whatever, but they're calling him the first American Pope. He's the first American-born Pope. United States, meaning by American. And he's from Chicago. So, of course, the Cubs had to come out yesterday and put on the marquee out in front of Wrigley Field. He's a Cubs fan. Until, of course, his brother said, no, he's a Sox fan. And the White Sox put up on the stadium screen that he's a Sox fan. And, somebody posted a picture of him in Sox gear in the 2005 World Series. It's okay. Did he wear Cubs gear when the Cubs won the World Series in, what was it, 2015, 2016, thereabouts? Okay, maybe. Who cares? Frankly, I don't care if he's a Cubs fan or a Sox fan, but it's Chicago. If you knew the rivalry there, if you live there, you know. Okay, you're one or the other. You aren't both. Cubs fan. But then the most hilarious for tone deaf was ABC News and David Muir and I forget who the other guy, I think it was Terry Moran, who were at the conclave. And they were going, well, he's a Cubs fan, so he's used to suffering. No, he's not a Cleveland fan. That would be suffering, okay? Because remind me when the last time the Browns won a Super Bowl or the Indians won a World Series. I think we got to go back to 1954 for the Indians. I think that's when it was. Okay. Yeah, okay. That would be suffering. At least the Cubs won one. I know they were a running joke for a century. Sox have won a few, but okay. Gee, I don't know. The Bears won. The Bulls won. The Hawks won. Okay, so, yeah. Sorry, just say it. But this is where the funniness comes out. And I get the playfulness of it, and that's good, in my opinion. The moronic comments from the media, well, that's not surprising, especially David Muir and Terry Moran. Dumb and Dumber could be, Dumb and Dumber 2 could be made with those two. But it's maybe a little bit of time for optimism with this Pope. Again, I'm not Catholic. It really doesn't matter personally to me. But what I look at more is, will this Pope be able to repair the damage from the last Pope? Will he be able to bring the ideals of the church back into the forefront? Will he be another John Paul II? We can only pray. Pinball out.